What's up, everybody? ROH Rewind, ROH Wrestling Rewind, something like that. I don't know. We're still every week. I feel like we're deciding on a name for this thing. I'm Jeremy Lambert. We're on the Distraction YouTube channel. People they're still fired up over the trial of Louis Dangor that happened on Twitch. My God, what a scene that was. Louis, bless that man. Bob O'Neill is here. He's under the weather. Everyone, please be nice to Bob O'Neill. He's not feeling well. How are you doing, O'Neill?
I'm doing well, guys. Glad to be here. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun show. Looking forward to it.
O'Neill sounds more. He's got a little deeper voice with everything going on.
Yeah, it's not great, but I'll be all right.
Yeah, scratchy throat, JJ. Steven Jensen is here. Jensen, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. What's today? Tuesday. So pretty chill Tuesday today. Got my show tonight with Doug, 10 p.m. live rounds over the RVD Theater for Life channel. If you want to hear me talk more wrestling later tonight, but that's pretty much all I'm doing today. Doing a little writing, so a little MMA writing actually. So
I listened to Moxley with Robbie from Barstool, My Mom's Basement, and they were talking about the card this weekend, the MSG card, and Moxley was very fired up for Gaethje and Chandler, yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's a hell of a fight. Like that's literally the best match for both guys right now. It's like the matchmaking was perfect there. And, I don't know if either gets a title shot coming off a win, but they're both in that realm because they both lost to Charles Oliveira. So like, basically, the best thing that could happen for either of those guys is Dustin Poirier winning the title, because then you might see a Gaethje and Poirier rematch potentially. But it's a stacked card. We doing Fightful Fight Night. That's a great way to remind me to tell people this Saturday, YouTube.com/Fightful. We'll be watching the pay-per-view right here with you guys.
There you go. I will not be here. I'll be at a hockey game with the Confirmed Shoot. Confirmed Shoot and I are going to a hockey game on Saturday. Amazing. Amazing. Guys, we're not reviewing the latest episode of ROH Television, which there was a new episode. They put it up on their YouTube channel. So if people want to actually watch it there, you can find it there. I assume it's on their website as well. I don't know if it aired on Sinclair this week, because I know Sinclair had issues with like footage and everything. So I think they aired some like Jay Lethal special on Sinclair. But there was a new episode of television. My thoughts is, with the announcement that they're going to be on hiatus pretty much after Final Battle, it's kind of tough to get into the television and like care about it, if I'm being honest about things. And Joseph's not here. Joseph's on vacation, by the way. Anybody looking for him? I wasn't feeling watching the television this week. They did announce the card for Honor for All. Did you see this, Jensen? Like it looks like a good card.
The only thing that's the only match I've seen so far.
Yeah, they're defending the GCW titles against Effie and AJ Gray. The ROH titles are on the line. It's OGK against Dragon Lee and Kenny King. Gresham against Brody King. Bandito against Demonic Flamita. It looks like a good card. You wouldn't be able to tell any of this if you watch the television. But it seems like it'll be a good show. We shall see. We're not reviewing television. Instead, I've talked at length about the ROH hiatus. O'Neill joined us on the show last Wednesday, I think is when everything came down, to talk about everything. Jensen has not talked about it, at least not on this platform. So, Steven, your thoughts on everything that is going down with ROH right now?
So I talked about this a little bit on the Weekender podcast, so you should definitely check that out over at Fightful Select, because I talked a little bit about this, but I was saving a lot of it for this conversation today. I know it was a Wednesday because my phone was blowing up when I was at Dave & Buster's. I was sitting there at the bar drinking Backwoods lemonades, and I was like, wait, why is everyone talking about Ring of Honor? And yeah, so, I mean, I have a lot of mixed feelings on it, as I'm sure everybody does. Like, on one hand, Ring of Honor, it's a company that obviously means a lot to current day pro wrestling. We've talked about that already in the short time we've been doing the show. Like the current product that I think most people really, really love about what pro wrestling is today stems from early Ring of Honor. It's a company that means a lot. It's a company that gave a lot of people some of their first big shots like of exposure and stuff, and was really great internationally, bringing talents in from all over the place and really spotlighting them in the US. And so it means a lot, and it's very sad to see kind of where the company has wound up, as once again we've talked about on this show, like the no buzz, no fans, like everything kind of what's going on with them right now. And it's a bummer, and it's a real bummer for the people that, you know, are under contract, especially like the wrestlers that they had, like the you know, for planning for the future, they knew what they should have been making, you know, money wise for a certain amount of time. And like, this is going to affect people and their families. And obviously I feel really bad about all these things, but there is a massive silver lining here for a lot of these wrestlers, because that talent, the talent like group in Ring of Honor, they're stacked with talent. That could be anywhere. And the one upside of all of this is I think that wrestlers like Jonathan Gresham and Jay Lethal and Tracy Williams and Bandito and so many others, like they're going to actually be better off in other companies. Like more people are going to see them. They're probably going to make more money. Like this is going to wind up being a good thing for wrestlers and fans. Of course, there's going to be some people that like, they're not going to get signed and stuff. Like this is definitely going to negatively affect some people. And I don't like that, obviously, but it's just one of those things where it's like, you know, the fans, we want Jonathan Gresham versus Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson. Like that's a total possibility now. Like there's all these matches that I just feel like, because there's so much talent in Ring of Honor, there's going to be a lot of really, really cool things that come out of this. But I feel really bad for the wrestlers that like might not catch on other places that had, you know, their futures kind of set on being in Ring of Honor. You know what I mean?
We've talked about it at length, but it's tough because people are losing paychecks on this stuff, which is never good. I talked about it yesterday with Andrew Thompson of, you know, a lot of these people will catch on elsewhere. We've already seen some people pick up independent bookings, like Silas Young has made an appearance over the weekend. He said he's got more bookings coming up. Bandito is already booked for GCW. I'm sure Gresham's working 16 karat, but that's not till March. I'm sure he'll have no problem finding work. A lot of these guys won't have many problems finding any work. The issue is that there is no steady paycheck coming in now that they would have had, because Ring of Honor was Joseph is in the chat, says Bob looks very nervous without me. Understandable. But it's not a steady paycheck, because a lot of those guys were under some type of an exclusive deal to where they were getting paid weekly, monthly, bi-weekly, however ROH handled their pay. Now that's gone. Now they got to book their dates. They got to do these independent shows and everything. That's what sucks about all of this, is a lot of people. And then you think of the staff and everybody behind the scenes,
yes,
as well. So like a lot of people lost jobs, and that's what sucks about this. Obviously, it's not the ROH we kind of grew up on, Jensen, that, as I've said many times, kind of rekindled my love for wrestling. I don't know what the future holds for them moving forward. They're taping television, I think, this week. I'm pretty sure this weekend is when they said they're going to tape television. And then they're obviously going to do Final Battle, which is live. They've got the Honor for All special, which I assume is going to be taped this weekend, and then it'll air on Honor Club November 14th, I believe it is. And again, Final Battle, which is live. We'll see what happens after that. I don't think they're taping any television after that, like the day after Final Battle or anything. And then they'll come back in April, and I would imagine it'll be a lot of kind of like paper appearance deals. And we'll see kind of who they're able to use. Joseph and I have said many times that the kind of, and Jensen, I think you're on board with this as well, is events. Do events. Because I said this yesterday, is they are a weekly television show that never figured out how to do weekly television. And that ultimately was one of their downfalls, is they had weekly television because everyone was like, you need weekly TV. They never figured out how to do it. And people got confused with the product, and it never worked for them. It was kind of like ECW. ECW at least like figured out a little bit how to do TV, but once they got TV, it took a little bit of that specialness away of everything they were building. When they got on Spike, TNN, whatever it's called,
The Nashville Network.
Yes, the Nashville Network. Whatever it was. It kind of took some specialness away from everything.
Yeah. Bob, what are your thoughts? I'll give more of mine here in a minute.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. I hope they figure it out and they do come back. They don't just, never come back from hiatus. I think that'd be the biggest bummer of all. Obviously, I think a lot of their, core people aren't going to not be under contract anywhere when they come back. So, yeah, they are going to have to change it a little bit. And I'm interested in seeing, what they have planned.
Yeah, it's also interesting because, there are a lot of talents that were working Ring of Honor without contracts too. So I don't know, how, you know what I mean? There are people that probably are I'm sure they liked working at Ring of Honor, but they also kind of had one foot in, one foot out, and just kind of waiting for something better to come along. Or a lot of them, like Tony Deppen, for instance, he's bigger in GCW than he is in Ring of Honor and stuff. Like Chris Dickinson's the same kind of way. It's going to be interesting going forward too. Like if they do relaunch how they are planning to early next year, it's going to be really hard for them to book champions and stuff. Because if you're going to run as a strict independent, you got to be really careful about who you put your title on because you're risking them not being available for your shows.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested to see where they go from that perspective. It just off the top of my head, for instance, I think they'd be really smart to try to get a commitment out of a guy like Freddie Ahai or something like that. Like a guy who's really, really good and really fits the Ring of Honor brand, but might not be in AEW's immediate crosshairs right now. Get someone who you think you're going to have access to that can put on the type of product the fans want to see, and you just can't be relying on the Jonathan Greshams of the world who are going to be getting booked everywhere or get signed to a major company. You know what I mean?
Joseph said this last week at some point, but they lost their way when it came to kind of finding talent because AEW did a lot of that. They would scout out and find these independent guys. A guy like Daniel Garcia would have been perfect for ROH of yesteryear. They got Lee Moriarty. They had him at the last show. It's oh yeah, he's signed to AEW now. They didn't find those guys like they used to, and the guys they did find were typically scooped up by NXT. So I understand it was tough to kind of lock them down and try to build around those guys, because when they did, they ended up going elsewhere. By the end of it, they tried to build around to more of the luchador stuff, with Roosh and Flamita, Bandito, Dragon Lee. They tried to build around those guys, and unfortunately, again, this is an issue with sort of being a weekly television company that didn't know how to do weekly television. You're world champion. People, when they think weekly television, they think WWE kind of style. That's just what we've kind of been ingrained to. WWE, WCW style. Even AEW, do they do things a little bit differently? Yes. At the end of the day, they do a lot of sports entertainment stuff. Impact, of course, does the same thing. So a guy like Bandito, who is not going to be out there cutting a promo, it doesn't work for what most of the American audience thinks of as a weekly television show. And they could not figure out how to spotlight a guy like him or a guy like Roosh as a weekly TV star with the limitations of the language and everything like that. They just never figured it out with that stuff. And this even goes back before they started building around the luchadors. Even when they had the Elite and all those guys, they just never figured out weekly television. And I think that was a big part of their downfall. You mentioned Jensen, who's going to kind of come back for ROH, in April. I do think April will be a pretty big show for them, especially if it's going to be Supercard during WrestleMania weekend. It's typically a big show. I'm sure they'll get some names, especially when they've been off for 4 months. Names will want to come in there, even if they have an exclusive deal, because now everybody is friendly working with each other and everything. I could totally see Danielson, especially if AEW is not going to run WrestleMania weekend, because Cody has said that weekend's WWE, we're not going to run anything. I could totally see Danielson being hey, let me go to this ROH show and just work this match against somebody. And Tony Khan, I'm sure, will be all right, sure, as long as, works out for everybody. So I could see that being a very big show, the relaunch. I would not get my hopes up of thinking that is what it's going to be going forward, unless they are just going to kind of build around events. If they're still going to have their weekly TV stuff, it needs to be sort of New Japan, where it's just like you do some multi-mans, you just kind of have like small angles play out to, you can hopefully build towards your big events and big matches and whatnot, but otherwise you just like splice in highlights from your big shows. We will see what they look like going there. I do think when they get to Supercard, you will see some loyalty with certain people who, because ROH was good to people during the pandemic. They didn't release anybody. They still paid everybody. They had the bubble. I think there will be people who are going to be like, hey, you know, as long as the paying's pretty well, I'm sure it'll be pay-per appearance deal. But if they're paying well, we want to be part of something special on this ROH relaunch that is hopefully more kind of what they used to do instead of what they've been doing. Jensen, your thoughts on just guys like Gresham is one that I kind of point to, because it looked like they were ready to build a promotion around him starting at Final Battle. It seemed like they were building towards him winning the title. We'll still see. They could go that way. I don't know. And if he's the champion, you know, what happens after that? We'll see. But do you think there will be loyalty from guys of like, hey, you took care of me, even if they're locked into a deal, assuming it's not WWE, because we know WWE is not going to allow anybody to work there. But assuming they're not locked into a WWE deal, like, yeah, I'll be part of this relaunch and you know, help you guys out and try to boost whatever this relaunch is going to be.
Yeah, I think for sure that there's going to be people that are going to be loyal to. I mean, I think there's even people that weren't under contract for them that really like being there. It's just they wanted to have options, you know, and so I love the idea of someone like Bryan Danielson. Like, I think he would want to be a part of something like that. If it was like one big last like show before it kind of changes, or like you said, if they can do more like what GCW does and they just do big events every few months or whatever, and just get the best indie talent that they can to show up like that. I love that idea too. And I mean, they can make a hell of a card, you know, especially, I mean, we got to think Kevin Steen will probably be free by then. Like, I mean, he's going to want to be involved in something like this probably. Like, I mean, they can put on a real super show. Like, maybe you even do Danielson versus Gresham on that show. Like, maybe you don't do it on AEW. Maybe you do it there and like try to get a whole bunch of buzz as AEW continues to try to help all these other companies out with like, you know, the Forbidden Door and all that stuff. But I think for sure, like, that show is going to be a really good show. I think there's going to be a lot of pretty big names on that. And I think the big question, like you said, Jeremy, though, is like, do they keep doing weekly TV? Because that's going to be like the make or break on a lot of what I think like they can and can't do with, you know, certain talents just aren't going to sign to be a part of their weekly TV. It's just not going to happen. But they might show up once every 2 months.
Yeah, if they're signed, then that's going to complicate things with weekly television. O'Neill, thoughts on any overarching thoughts on Ring of Honor?
No, I mean, like, it's kind of a bummer that's happening, obviously, but like, particularly, and I said this last week, like, they did everything right during the pandemic too, you know, and like, to be at this point now, it just kind of makes things even worse. But yeah, I hope they come back strong, you know. I do think, kind of like you said, that WrestleMania weekend show, they can get some big people and they can really get some momentum going into that. It's just a matter of, you know, what they do from there.
Jensen, any final thoughts?
I'll say this: if ROH does some sort of super show and it comes out that names like Danielson and Punk and Steen and these kind of guys want to be a part of it and they want to make it a really big deal, I think, well, I don't know what his status is, but I would want Samoa Joe to be on that. Don't care if he's under contract. Like, that's something where, like, if he's able to wrestle and they're not really doing anything with him, he needs to walk into Triple H's office or whoever's office there and be like, listen, like, get one night, just like, you know, the amount of goodwill you would get from fans if you let a couple of your guys go and do something like this would be humongous for the WWE's goodwill with especially for fans like me who don't watch anymore. Like, if I knew they were more like this, like these other companies were, it's going to get me more interested in their product too. So, you know, I'd really want to see something like that. I think that'd be really cool.
I mean, Joe is a good start. El Generico, I mean, doesn't have to be Sami Zayn. El Generico showing up would be a tremendous pop. Yeah, WWE certainly not going to do it.
Right.
But it would be great if they would allow these guys. Because like you said, it builds goodwill with fans. It builds goodwill with other companies. But they're not going to do it unless they have some sort of agreement with ROH the same way they would have it. They had an agreement with like Evolve and have an agreement now with Progress and everything. I just don't think any of that stuff is going to happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, I just think of like, I know it's a different time, it's different circumstances and everything, but it's like, remember the like the Brian Hildebrand memorial show back in like, you know, and like that, like people from WWF were on that, people from WCW were on that. It was like everyone just kind of set everything aside and was like, look, let's just do something cool for the fans and let them pay tribute to this guy without any of the BS attached to this. Like, so I think it's possible for everyone to be on the same page, but I also don't know if like, you know, the WWE is looking to help Ring of Honor at all. Like, I don't know why they necessarily would be, unfortunately. So, but I think AEW would want to help.
I definitely think AEW would want to help. Maybe Tony is like, yeah, you can have Danielson, but you know, can I get that all-in footage? Okay. Hey, can we get this all-in footage here? Sure, you can have Danielson, you can use Punk, you can use these guys, but you got to throw me this all-in footage.
Yeah, it's a fair trade.
Use these guys.
It's a fair trade. Yeah,
yeah, it is.
That's it. Like, this is what Tony should do. Tony, I'm throwing ideas out there for you. All right, you want this footage? Go after it. Jesus says TK doesn't have the balls.
Oh God.
Oh God.
Oh, God. I know. Yeah. I know.
All right, guys, we are going to watch Adam Cole, baby, against AJ Styles from ROH All-Star Extravaganza 2014. O'Neal, I'm assuming you've never seen this match?
I have not. No.
Jensen, have you?
I feel like I have, but I don't remember because this was between like AJ was in New Japan at this time, right? Or right around that time?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So, yeah, I remember him doing a little run with Ring of Honor, but I don't remember this match in particular. So this is going to be like watching for the first time for me. So I'm looking forward to this.
I'm in the same boat where I know I watched it around the time that it came out, but I can't recall anything about it. So here we go, everyone. Everyone got it. You guys got it loaded up. Guys, the link is in the description. I made sure to put that in there. I will post it in the chat as well and give everybody sort of a second to get that pulled up if you would. You guys want to? There we go. Everyone head over there. Yeah, I don't recall anything from the match. I'm pretty sure the Bucks. This is obviously when it's Bullet Club stuff with Styles. I'm pretty sure the Bucks are in the corner of AJ in this match. So it's before kind of Cole joins everything with them. So,
you remember?
All right, everybody.
Remember back?
Everybody got it pulled up?
Yeah, I got it pulled up.
Okay. We're gonna click play in 3, 2, 1, play. Jesus, I got to mute. Forgot the loud Throwback Thursday gimmick there.
Just reminded me of talking about like old Bullet Club stuff. Like, you remember when Cody Hall would like carry Nick Jackson on his shoulders and stuff? Like, it looked like he was going to be like this big deal, and then
Adam Cole, baby.
I don't have the headphones in to hear this, but is he coming out to the "I Got Something for You" song?
Oh, there's no way they posted that on YouTube without getting.
Oh, that's right, YouTube.
Yeah.
Right, that.
I don't have the sound on either, but there's no way that's on. Let's see. I don't recognize this song at all.
Well, nonetheless,
it looks like it's Something for You. Is that what it's called?
I got something for you.
It's something like that.
Something for you. That was a great theme song for him. Like, I heard him talking about how he wanted a brand new theme song for AEW. Like, he wanted like a kind of a restart, like an original song for himself. But before he debuted, I was hoping he was going to come out to this. But I do really like his AEW theme song, though.
It's weird, he does the finger point, and we're so used to the boom now. And there was no boom on that. Yeah, Cole didn't get like a major reaction. This is before Cole like really became Adam Cole from what I recall. Because the Bullet Club stuff helped him out a lot. But still, sharing the ring with AJ Styles was a big deal.
I was about to say, because like this is pre him in the Bullet Club, because he wasn't in until AJ was out.
Yeah.
So that was a great reveal, by the way. I mean, like I know, like his Adam Cole's exit from the Bullet Club was pretty amazing too. But
yeah, AJ's IWGP heavyweight champ for this thing.
If I remember correctly, he won that title in his first New Japan match. Like AJ like went in and immediately beat was it Okada for the title? Like right away. Someone in the chat will know.
Did they put it on in his first match?
I think it was right away.
I believe it. He was a big deal in New Japan. I know we talked about it last week of like what's AJ's like best run, and the New Japan stuff is just an all-time run for him. That's when he really figured out. I said his ROH stuff kind of connected with me the most because it sort of got me back into wrestling, but that was almost a devil's advocate because everybody else said the New Japan stuff. But the New Japan stuff is like really when he figured out more of just like the character side of everything, and not just, hey, I'm going out there and just like really having these banger matches.
And the timing was perfect because Devitt or Finn Balor he had just left. So like AJ came in and replaced him, and it was like, oh damn, like okay, AJ is the Bullet Club leader now, and like that was a big kind of, because before that the only real character progression we got out of him was when TNA was trying to make him like Sting towards the end of his TNA run. Like
they tried to make him Flair and defend your company, JJ.
His Impact theme ruled. Oh yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. Get ready to fly. Yeah, I am.
I am was awesome.
Yeah, you are. I am. Evil Knievel. This is AJ like before he's like starting to grow his hair out here. The longest time remember he had like the shag early TNA, then he had like the short hair for like most of his run, and then he just started growing it out around now. Now he's got the mom hair that everyone likes to make fun of. I'm at the point where they're shaking hands. I had to like go past an ad a second ago.
We're at 4:30. Just at that.
Okay.
AJ just like wanted to shoot people all the time.
I always thought their finger guns looked kind of lame but then I was like, I can't make it look any cooler though. Like I'm trying.
O'Neal, thoughts on Adam Cole? Do you think he sucks like Joseph does?
No, I think Adam Cole's actually very good. And I still think that, I'm someone that thought it earlier this year and currently, which there's not a lot of people that think it for both. So,
yeah, Joseph thought he sucked. And then he went to AEW, and all of a sudden Adam Cole's now the greatest wrestler of all time.
That's typical.
Yeah.
He took a minute to grow on me, because I remember him wrestling. I think he wrestled Michael Elgin I think he lost the title to Michael Elgin in Nashville. But I remember Cole, he was winning matches with the figure four and stuff when I first started watching him, and I was like in Ring of Honor, you got to be doing cooler moves than just the figure four. What the hell? And then over time, I was like, oh, this guy's really, really, really good. And then by the time he got signed to WWE, I was super stoked that he got signed. I thought they were going to make him the biggest thing in the company. And then fast forward 4 years, and now he's killing it in AEW. One of my favorite wrestlers in the world, honestly.
Yeah.
I ROH Adam Cole didn't do a ton for me. And when he came into NXT, they made him a big deal right off the bat. They had him right immediately in the main event scene, and then immediately lined him with O'Reilly and Fish. So I was excited right off the bat because they presented him as a big deal, even though I wasn't his biggest fan going in. and I thought he just killed everything in his NXT run. And by the time, he exited and came to AEW, I was very excited for him. I didn't expect that he would be this over with everything, especially with Punk and Danielson coming in. And it feels like sometimes Cole gets the biggest reaction on the night, but he continues to kill it in AEW as well. But, just good shit. I don't know if they fucked that up or what happened there. That was rough.
I remember the first time I saw Adam Cole was actually his team Future Shock with Kyle O'Reilly. Like, I knew him as a tag team guy first, and I always thought Kyle was like a little better. And then once Adam Cole's like personality started really coming out, that was like, oh yeah, this is the guy. I feel the same about Kyle though. Like, I'm a huge Kyle O'Reilly fan. I don't watch the current NXT product, but like the little like screenshots I see here and there, or like I don't know what the hell they're doing with this guy now, like sitting by the campfire with some guy I've never seen before. Like, I don't know what this is, but
yeah,
he's got to get to AEW too.
Yeah, no, he doesn't really, fit with the reboot.
He's wrestling tonight. Yeah. He's teaming with Von Wagner.
Oh, that was the guy that he must have been sitting next to next to the campfire that I saw. I watched. I think it was last week. Was there a match with Lumberjacks?
Yeah.
He was just like one of the Lumberjacks. I was like, this is how far Kyle O'Reilly is sunk down, that like he's just like a random nameless, faceless Lumberjack now. Like, oh man, It's not a good spot to be in. But they made him like the face of they were trying to make him the face of, like the whole thing, right? And then they did like the 2.0 rebrand, and like you were saying, Bob, he just must not fit into their plans for that. Well, that's too bad. I don't know how you can be a professional wrestling company or even a sports entertainment company and not know how to fit Kyle O'Reilly into your plans. That guy is ultra talented.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he will be. I don't know when his contract is up. Feels like whatever it is, he ain't long for that promotion.
Yeah, he'll be all elite soon enough.
Yeah. And look, if that happens, the stories they could tell.
Yep. I can't remember who it was on Twitter. I should give him credit, but someone had a great idea that I read, and he basically said, he or she, I can't remember who it was, said they should do a story. It might have been one of you guys even. I don't even remember, but they said they should do a story or what they should to kind of introduce the whole thing. O'Reilly and Fish attack the Young Bucks, and then Adam Cole comes out, and you don't know which side he's going to take. Like, I think that'd be a pretty cool story.
I think Pulowski tweeted.
Yeah, it might have been Alex. It might have been Alex.
Yeah, Pulowski tweeted that.
I want to give Alex his full credit there. I saw that tweet, and I thought that was genius. Like, that's exactly what I think they should do. I won't be mad if they don't do that, because I don't get married to my fantasy booking like so many of these nerds do. But like, I think that would be a really cool way to do that. Shout out Alex.
Your pal Kiwi says Undisputed Era not touching the main roster is still a big head scratcher for me. I don't think those guys fit with what Vince's vision was going to be. I've said this before. I did a very, very, very minor WWE save in my TEW. And by very minor, I mean I played like 1 week of it and then gave up on it because I'm like, I ain't booking all this shit. But my idea was, and this was last year. So my idea was Drew gets the title at WrestleMania, because I think I started after the Rumble. So Drew gets the title at WrestleMania. Next night on Raw, attacked by Undisputed Era. Like, that's how. And I know like they probably couldn't have done that in the pandemic. They could have done that the year before though. With everything. Like, they should have been up. They should have been a night after Raw call up, just taking out the champion. Like, could you imagine if they attacked Kofi the night after Raw?
Oh,
to set that up, to set up New Day and Undisputed Era stuff. Like, they would have been over immediately if you do something like that. And they, of course, they did what they do. They just Didn't do it. They stayed in NXT. They were great in NXT, but they were very long in the tooth by the time everything was over.
Mm-hmm.
And I still think them not capitalizing on that breakup the way they needed to was one of their biggest misfires.
Yeah.
That idea of Undisputed Era attacking Drew McIntyre to debut on Raw or SmackDown or whatever show, that would have been interesting because they did the same thing on NXT.
Yeah,
like, remember exactly. Like Adam Cole, like that was there. Yeah, so that actually, like, if they wanted to acknowledge a long-term story, like they could be like, they did this to us there too. Like, I get the title, and now all of a sudden these guys are coming after me again.
Exactly. He gets the title, they attack him, and then you basically do the thing of, you know, because McIntyre, he left after he got injured, and then he left.
He lost to Andrade when he got hurt. That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
And then so he got injured in NXT, and then he was done. And that's the story you tell. They attack him the night after Mania, and they basically be like, you know, last time we did this, you ran. Like you ran, like you're not running this time. Like you have what we want, and we're coming after it. And I get, like, maybe you don't want Adam Cole to lose his first big main roster match against Drew McIntyre because you don't want to take the title off of McIntyre immediately. At the same time, like you immediately establish them as a top team. If Cole or if McIntyre beats them, he adds more credibility. It's not going to kill Undisputed Era. It's not going to kill Adam Cole if he loses a big first match to Drew McIntyre, because it's probably going to be a solid match. It's like it didn't kill AJ Styles when he lost that match to Roman Reigns for the title after Reigns got the title. So it's not going to kill guys if they lose matches if you book them in the correct way and you book the matches. Phenomenal forum, that's it. And you book the matches correctly. But WWE, of course, they probably do some wacky roll-up finish or some shit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, Cole specifically is going to be a guy that I think they regret losing for the next few years. Like, it's pretty evident what he's going to be in AEW, and, man, that's a whiff by them.
Just an unnecessary loss, too.
Yeah.
He's like the nicest guy. Like, he's like super easy to get along with and work with.
Like, come to the main roster and cut your hair, change your name, give up your Twitch stream, and all this stuff. It's like, what? Huh? Why?
Yeah, because I mean, like, he was willing to stay too. Like, it wasn't a foregone thing that he was leaving.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he signed like the short-term contract showed there was some willingness to like work something out there.
I think that was more for Kyle, though, to be honest. Like,
I think he definitely wanted to finish up the Kyle feud. I totally agree with that. But
if he was like miserable, he didn't have to stay. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh boy, he completely missed Adam's knee on this. This match, a little rough. Like, a little rough.
Yeah, and I'm kind of waiting for it to pick up a little bit too. Like, you know,
this is a 30. I mean, shit, we're halfway through this video. It has kind of flown by. I did not realize we were already halfway through the video. Like, it's a 31-minute video.
Sam asked me how I would book Steen debuting in AEW, like short and sweet. Honestly, I mean, it's like the obvious thing to do, but I just do it. Like, I would have some sort of story where, and here's the thing about AEW, right? Like, there's so many possibilities for stories with all these different guys that, like, you know, there's limitless possibilities with this stuff. But personally, I'd probably do something along the lines of like Adam Cole Kenny Omega loses the title to Hangman. Adam Cole and the Young Bucks turn on Kenny, and Kenny's gone for a while, comes back as a babyface later on, maybe with Ibushi, which would be like huge. And with Cole and the Young Bucks now their own thing, Steen joins with them for Mount Rushmore. So I'd just have them as the group, and then I'd have Kenny with him, Ibushi, and you throw a couple other guys in there.
God, Cole's gonna concuss himself doing the Bret Hart spot. Just took a flat back on the floor.
Demon says, I'm not booking MJF to beat Hangman in his hometown. No, I'm not. But I do think MJF beating Hangman for the title, like, I like the idea of him being the one to beat Hangman, but not like the same week he wins the title.
Cole going for the sharpshooter spot again. Still landed rough on that.
Yes. I also think, just for the record, that AEW should turn CM Punk heel like sooner than later, and the best way to do it would be for him to attack Hangman Page for being an alcoholic. Like, I think that would be awesome.
That seems to be a very consensus idea for a lot of people. Of you pair those up. I don't know if Punk. I feel like Punk might even be playing a longer game than that, because I'm looking at Hangman's first challenger as Moxley.
Yep.
Because I think Moxley wins the tournament. I think it's Cole at Revolution in February. And then I think that almost starts the... I wouldn't be shocked if they put the title on Cole, honestly. I would not be shocked if you put the title on Adam Cole, because Owen's contract is up January, right?
Yeah, I think right after the Rumble.
Yeah. So like that first weekend, February, second weekend, February, whenever Revolution is, it's in February. Like, you debut Steen there, have him help Cole win the title. You kind of do the Mount Rushmore thing of like, wait, Omega, because we've already seen like the small dissension between Omega and Cole. Steen comes in, then Omega questions of like, wait, I thought we were Elite, I thought we were Bullet Club. The history between Cole, Bucks, and Steen goes back further with the Mount Rushmore stuff. So it's like, where does Omega fit in with all of this? I think you can maybe get the title on Cole at Revolution with the help of Owens.
I mean, these are all good ideas. Like, I wouldn't be opposed to any of that. Once again, that's a good thing about AEW. They can go in a whole bunch of different directions, and it can all be good. And you can push a lot of different people at one time. Yeah, like, that's another thing that I don't think that quote unquote WWE fans consider enough, is like, everyone thinks that like everything has to be one certain way, and that like only one person can get a push per decade and all this stuff. And it's like, AEW they have like 20 people waiting right now to be world champion. Like, and with the right storylines, any of these things are possible. So, and Adam Cole is over enough that like he could be the AEW world champion. I don't think anyone would have a problem with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think like, Hangman losing the title in February too is fine, because at some point I do think they're going to need to go away from like these 9 to 12 month title reigns that they have. Like, it's been fine so far, it hasn't been a problem, but like, it's not something you can keep doing, because there are a lot of guys who should probably have the title or be in title programs.
There will be a short run at some point. I think Hangman is a good guy to do a short run with. Again, 4 days, I ain't doing a run that short. No. But
no, I'm not some idiot who would say that.
But a 4-month run.
Yeah, that's fine.
caught him. He caught his leg on that.
Oh, yeah.
But I do think, it's such a good problem to have. Like,
yes.
Because you have, like, Danielson, like, he could be the champion at any point. Punk's still popular enough that you could put the title on him, and, like, there'd be a response to it. I mean, there's a lot of people that are, like, right there. Moxley's still one of the biggest guys I got. Kingston gets the biggest reaction of almost anybody. Like, you can do whatever you want with that guy.
Yeah.
Eddie's definitely a guy that like just never needs to win the title,
right?
And he will probably be fine, because he loses like the majority of his matches, at least the big ones, and it's like no one really cares because he's such a great promo, and he's still like so over that it's like, oh, at some point like he probably should win a big match. I don't know when that's going to be, but he's certainly a guy who could just kind of keep sort of losing these big matches and remain pretty over.
For sure. Yeah, he does lose more often than he wins in the big matches, and it just doesn't, like you said, it just doesn't matter. Like, that's, once again, you can lose and lose and lose, but as long as the matches are good and you come out of it looking credible, most fans aren't going to care like that you're losing matches. Like, I mean, you can't always lose, but that's the thing. Kingston does win every now and then when it matters. Like he wins just enough that like you're keeping everyone satisfied.
Yeah, and he always looks good in the matches. He gets plenty in the matches, and it matters on how you lose too. Like Miro had to like low blow him. Danielson, I was watching Cole going for the Panama Sunrise and seeing it was a nice little reversal exchange there.
Yeah.
Like Danielson, there's the clash. Danielson had to essentially force him to pass out and everything. Like he's not just losing these like kind of clean pinfalls all the time. So,
well, and what a match between those two.
Yeah,
that Kingston and Danielson match was awesome.
Yeah.
And at the end, that's what people, especially AEW fans, like that wins and losses obviously matter in that promotion, but that's sort of what they look at is like, all right, do I still care about this person even if he loses? And for a guy like Eddie, like the loss is part of his struggle and part of his journey. So that's why people are okay that he loses these matches, because it's like, yeah, Eddie was never supposed to be that guy that just won a bunch. He was always the guy who was knocked down, kicked down, and just got back up and kept fighting. So when he does get that big payoff of a victory, whether it's I don't think it's gonna be a world title, but possibly the TNT title or the tag titles, it's gonna be like just a big celebration when he finally gets that big victory.
It's kind of similar to Nick Gage too. Like he's been doing nothing but losing lately, and he's still the most over guy in the whole company. Like it just doesn't matter, you know. I think Kingston and Moxley as tag team champions would be pretty badass.
Joseph was very sold on the idea that he was going to win. They were going to win the belts against the Bucks, and maybe they should have. Obviously, they didn't, but maybe they should have.
Well, they might wind up beating the Lucha Bros, maybe, because they're more babyface now, and it looks like Moxley and Kingston are kind of heading towards more heel territory. But once again, great thing with AEW, you can just be gray area and like once again, you don't have to really be a full babyface or heel to do this.
These facial expressions Cole is making, Shawn Michaels saw these and was like, "Gotta have this guy. Gotta have him."
And then he taught those to Johnny Gargano so that he could look lovingly into Tommaso Ciampa's eyes when they wrestled each other 1,000 times. Those were great matches, but the overacting like really killed it for me.
It was a bit much.
But that's part of what makes Cole so good is like he can get away with doing kind of a lot of quote unquote basic stuff, but because of his facial expressions, like that makes the whole thing. Especially whenever he like winds up bleeding or something, you can see this look on his face, like he's like terrified. Like it's pretty wild too, like between these two guys. Like they're both so good. Like Adam Cole, lifelong wrestling fan, always wanted to be a wrestler from the first time he saw it. AJ Styles had no interest in wrestling at all. It was just incredibly athletic and like got into it late and just incredible.
AJ selling on these forearm shots is so good.
Yeah. He's the man. I saw something on Twitter, like I was scrolling through, and has AJ like not been on WWE lately or something?
Yeah, he's missed the last 2 weeks. He was actually advertised and announced for last week and just wasn't there. According to Meltzer, it's a non-injury medical issue, I believe was the terminology.
Oh, shit.
These forearms are fucking brutal.
AJ needs to have at least one match in AEW before he calls it a career. It has to happen.
When's his deal up? He signed like a 5-year deal a couple years ago, so I feel like he's still got another like 2 years left.
Yeah. And I wouldn't blame him, you know, if he wrapped it up with the WWE. Like they've been great to him, you know, and he's one of those guys that I'm sure Vince probably is like, man, I wish I would have pulled the trigger on him a decade before I did. Like he's got to be kicking himself for that because they definitely spotlight AJ. But it's like, if he wouldn't have done that, he would have been an EVP at AEW. You know what I mean?
All right, O'Neal, has the match picked up to your liking here?
Yeah, no, it has. It's gotten real good in the past 5 or 10 minutes.
Turning it up. What do you think about is his name Sinclair? Why am I saying Sinclair? The referee, Todd Sinclair.
Yeah, Todd Sinclair.
That's just a coincidence, huh? That Sinclair wound up owning the company and all. But he's a great referee, like underrated.
Yeah, I think he does a good job, like, controlling the match without getting in the way of it.
Yeah. I got to watch him ref some stuff in Nashville in like this little sound studio a handful of years ago. And he was just like an incredibly nice guy also. Like that always gives me bonus points. If I meet a wrestler and they're super cool in person, like except for the one outlier there is MJF. When I met him, he was such an asshole to me. And this was before I really knew that he like lived the gimmick. I just knew a little bit about him because this is like probably almost 5 years ago. And I was like, I went to take his hand and he like left me hanging and tell me to go F myself, like right to my face. And I was like, and there was like 10 people total at the show. I mean, it was so small. And I was like, excuse me? Like I started looking around like, this guy for real? And then like I saw him doing it to everyone else. And I was like, this guy is genius. Like he's actually always a heel. Like this is incredible. Someone's actually doing this. So I respect him for that. Although I do know he frustrates fans sometimes. Like our friend Doug that I do my show with. Doug met MJF a couple years ago and paid MJF for an autograph. Like went to his table and paid for an autograph 8x10. And MJF made Wardlow sign it. MJF's name and he wouldn't sign it for him. So like Doug has this Wardlow signed MJF picture, but not MJF's actual autograph. But I love that.
A different finish there. A top rope, basically double arm DDT.
Bloody Sunday. That's Balor's move.
Yeah. I thought the Bloody Sunday was from like it was reversed though. Because
they call that the reverse bloody. Well, so they call it the 1916 in the WWE.
Okay.
But they don't differentiate when he's doing it forwards or backwards in the WWE on the commentary
okay.
for some reason. Yeah.
Maybe that's what throws me off.
Yeah.
But yeah, a top rope one. Usually we're used to the Styles Clash and now the forearm. But
yep.
He's also one of those guys. I've talked about it before, but I think it's awesome and incredibly smart that at this point in his career, he can beat you with the forearm, the Styles Clash, the calf crusher, the springboard 450. If he ever goes to the well for the spiral tap, like he has like 5 or 6 moves that could always be a finisher. So you never know. It makes the matches more unpredictable because you never know exactly when it's going to end. And he's made so many moves like important.
I wish he would go back to using the Styles Clash a bit more. In WWE, I feel like I'm sure he's probably used it like more recently than I think. It's just I don't pay as much attention to WWE nowadays, and I feel like I haven't seen the Styles Clash in forever. And I feel like he's been losing a lot too.
Yeah,
which doesn't help.
There
you go. Sam says 1916 is the reverse Bloody Sunday. Bloody Sunday is the front version. So
but they never
confusion comes from.
They don't call it the Bloody Sunday in WWE though at all.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive. Because of the name and being PG and all. But the what did you just say right before that, Jeremy? There was something I was going to say about that.
Oh, Styles using the Styles Clash in WWE.
Yeah. I wonder if they're trying to make fans forget about it because there's no way he's going to be able to put that on Omos.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's true.
That's a good point.
O'Neal, what did you think of that match?
I thought it was good. Picked up a little rough at the start, but it was good. It's 2 guys I enjoy watching, so it was good stuff.
Jensen? Really good stuff. Pretty much the little bit that I remembered, good stuff. And 2 of the best in the world, like even back in 2014. Like nothing's really changed here as far as how great these 2 guys are. So really cool that they got that this match.
You can see the improvements from Cole. I mean, it's 2014 to 2021. You can really see the improvements from Cole from then to now. Like he does a lot of the little things better. He's definitely more because like I don't know if it was his fault on some of these spots, but he was kind of the timing was a little bit messed up, and some of his stuff didn't look as clean as it certainly does now. AJ is like he's always phenomenal, and the majority of his stuff looked good. I do think Cole's like his forearms were great, but some of just the overall kind of the more high impact moves were a little bit. You watch Adam Cole do that stuff now, and it's all very clean compared to sort of where he was in 2014. Like I feel like if they had a match now, especially if you give me unleashed AJ Styles, AJ Styles is still very good. I think we've learned with the people who have gone from WWE to AEW that there are restrictions in WWE compared to not in WWE. So you give me like an unleashed AJ Styles with Adam Cole, I think we'd have a much better bout than we did in 2014. JJ says if you have a bad match with AJ, it's not AJ's fault. And for the most part, somebody had a match with him like on AJ's indie run. It was like Kaz Hayashi or something. I think even Kurt Hawkins at the time had a match with Styles, and it was just god awful. I think Kaz Hayashi is the guy who took the Styles Clash wrong and hurt his neck. But
no, you're talking about they made him like, oh my god, what was his name in WWE? Kaz Hayashi was from WCW. You're talking about,
you're right,
Yoshitatsu.
Yes. Yoshitatsu. Yes, sorry, that was. Yeah.
No, I know what you meant though. Yoshitatsu. Yeah,
yes.
He was the one who landed. He didn't tuck, or he tucked his neck when you wasn't supposed to, and
right. Yeah, I think Kurt Hawkins had like a terrible indie match with AJ Styles when AJ was back on the indies with everything. So some guys look, they have rough nights, and for the most part, Hawkins is a solid professional, the most professional. But like he is solid. So sometimes you just have bad nights. But yeah, I agree with the overall point of like if you have a bad night, I wouldn't say this match was bad, but I think from what we know of Adam Cole now, we may have been just expecting a little bit more out of this. And again, you can see the improvements that Adam Cole has made from 2014 to 2021, which is to be expected when you've been in the business some extra years and you've been around the guys he's been around and you've worked with the guys that he's worked with. So again, I'd like to see them go at it now, and I wonder what that would look like because I think it'd be excellent.
I agree. I agree with all of that.
All right, guys, that is that match. Sorry, I was reading Sam's comment. Like if AJ and Myers wrestle now, I'm sure it would be much better. Myers went on like the independent scene, and after he got released the first time by WWE, it just like didn't have that great of a run. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up with the ROH. We'll let everybody watch, I guess, AEW Dark. Seems like there's some good matches on that show. Steven Jensen, where can the people find you?
People can find me tonight on the RVD Tito for Life YouTube channel, RVD TITO, the number 4 LAFB. That'll be me and Doug, live rounds. We're going to be talking probably more Ring of Honor stuff. We'll be talking Bryan Danielson. We'll be talking UFC 267, which me and Jeremy watched together. And we'll also be talking about the upcoming UFC 268. We got back-to-back numbered shows, which reminds me to tell y'all that this Saturday, Fightful's YouTube channel, it'll be myself, Doug. I'm sure Rob Wilkins will jump in. And if Sean's available, he always jumps on with us. So we'll be doing Fightful Fight Night, watching UFC 268. It's a big show. Got Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington in the main event in their big rematch. So and then a rematch between Rose Namajunas and Riley Zhang. That's a huge fight. You also got Michael Chandler, Justin Gaethje. A lot of really good stuff going on. So Fightful Fight Night this Saturday. I'll be live, I think, tomorrow with Jesse. I think we'll be talking probably, I don't even know what we're going to talk about tomorrow, to be honest. We'll probably just talk about whatever the chat wants us to talk about for an hour or so. And I have a new podcast for all you non-wrestling fans. Me and SP3, every Friday at 10 a.m., we're talking and watching Degrassi The Next Generation, which is completely out of my wheelhouse of what I normally talk about. But we're going to be talking Degrassi. We had our first episode last week. We're going to talk more this week, and then we're going to do some watch-alongs the following week. So that's going to be on my Twitch channel. That's Fight Talk with an underscore, just like my Twitter. And if you want to go ahead and follow me or subscribe over there on my Twitch, it'll be a lot more active soon. So I enjoyed this. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. I appreciate. I like when you and SB3 get together. I don't want to take full credit for this partnership, but I'm going to take some credit for.
You deserve the credit.
You guys up.
You deserve the credit. About halfway through our Mighty Ducks podcast, I was like, this dude is exactly like me.
Yes, SB3, he's fantastic. I love when I our friends get together and sort of the community we've created here, and we can link up different people, and they start doing their own shit, because I just like seeing my friends do dope shit. So I don't watch Degrassi. I've never seen a second. I know Drake was on part of it.
Yeah, he was for a while.
Yes. There you go. Somebody, Dole Whips and Mickey Bar says, watching Degrassi Next Gen for Aubrey. Yeah. I will support the podcast, support you guys, because love both you guys. O'Neal, tell people to follow you on Twitter.
Yeah, you follow me on Twitter at Robert O'Neal 31. I believe we'll also be back here tomorrow afternoon around this time watching. What are we doing? We're reviewing some sort of movie.
I said this to you. I might have said it in the open. I said it off air. Are you on a bunch of like cough syrup and stuff, cold medicine, and you just can't remember these things?
Yes, 12 rounds with 12 round 3 with Dean Ambrose.
Dean Ambrose. That is what we were watching.
We're
not watching it. We're going to review it.
Wait, so are you going back to the whole series concept of like reviewing bad movies with wrestlers?
No, fuck no. Oh. That nearly killed me and Joseph. We are doing it because Joseph is on vacation, and I don't even know. I think O'Neal suggested it of like, hey, let's do a movie, and then we were going to do Fast 9. I was like, I initially agreed, and then it's a 2.5 hour movie, and I was like, I don't know, like, is that what we really want to do? So I thought Joseph and I never reviewed 12 rounds. At least this one, we reviewed the Orton one. So we decided I decided, hey, let's review the Dean Ambrose one, because he's wrestling on Dynamite tomorrow, and the Wednesday show usually serves as like a Dynamite preview as well. So he's wrestling on the Wednesday show. He's wrestling on Dynamite. He just has book come out today. So he's a popular fellow. It's Tony Khan's favorite movie as well. I don't know if anybody knows that.
Has he said that?
Joey Janela tells a story. I'll tell it on air tomorrow. It's not like it's a private story or anything. He said this in interviews.
I think I've heard about this, where he was like hanging out with
Janela tells a story where like Tony Khan just like wants him to come over and just watch 12 rounds because he loves it so much. But I'll tell that story on air of what Janela has said. So we're going to review that. We're going to talk a little bit of Dynamite and everything. That'll be tomorrow on this channel at 6:00 in youtube.com/FightfulDistraction. Tomorrow at 8:00, I'm uploading the full trial of Louis Dangor to the channel. So funny. Set your subscriptions for 8 a.m. It's going to be all here in its full glory. I clipped out the wrestling stuff. I'll upload that separately, the game streaming portion. So it'll just be the full trial of Louis Dangor tomorrow at 8:00. Twitch.tv/FightfulGaming. We'll be over there. I don't think we're not doing anything till Friday on that, because you guys aren't doing anything on Thursday, right, Jensen? Because Joel is he's going to Ottawa.
Oh, I completely forgot about. No, he did tell me that. Yeah, that's on me for not remembering. No, he did tell me. I mean, if you want to hang out and play some Mario Kart, we can. If not, we'll take the night off. It's totally up to you.
I have financial stuff to do on Thursday. I absolutely hate Financials Day because it's WWE Financials Day on Thursday. So chances are, like, once that's done, I will not want to do anything.
Well, we're going to take Thursday off, y'all. So no Thursday show. But if you want to make up, if anyone who wants to be made up for that can listen to me and SP3 talk about Degrassi on Friday.
There you go. We will be on Twitch on Friday. And yeah, appreciate all the support, guys. I got an interview dropping, I think, this weekend with the Michael Kingston, the author and creator of Headlock Comics. So that'll be going up on the channel this weekend, working on some potential other interview stuff. Trying to do stuff, guys. We appreciate you guys. As always, we'll talk to y'all on the channel tomorrow, 6:00, O'Neal and I.